given lure to it. Jake Heenan fills in for Nathan Hughes. Hughes not the only big ball carrier missing today. Harry Thacker is also injured, while Piers O'Connor will do what he can to replicate the transporting skills of another former Wasp, Charles Piatow. And a testing couple of hours ahead for Sam Bedlow, a centre really by trade, positioned at fly half to replace Wales' Callum Sheedy.
Nick, you've already mentioned the key matchup for me in the forward pack. It's between one of Bristol's most influential players, Chris Vui, and the Premiership's most influential player last year. Around the field, both contribute a huge amount, and you wonder who wins that battle. Might well give the backs the platform they need.
Oh, it's a perfect day for running rugby, and whilst there's plenty of players unavailable, there's still plenty of quality. But for me, I'm really looking forward to seeing Ben Vellacott go up against Harry Randall. Two guys that love to play with tempo, but most of all, the teams will be looking for control.
It's a busy old time ahead. John Muldoon and Pat Lam, who treated his family to a walkout in Wales last weekend. Ben, when he got home, he said, "I'll see you again at the end of June."
Yeah, it feels a bit like that right now, doesn't it? But he's created another little family, hasn't he? And he's going to be giving them all their attention, all his attention, for the next couple of hours.
Here comes his other family. Memory is still very fresh of last season, of course, and some magical adventures that it took them all on, all of their supporters, re-establishing their place in the big time and winning a European trophy for the first time in their history. They are revved up again. Goal last year was the top 6. Pat Lam saying this week, I guess, therefore, if we don't make the top 4, then we've gone backwards. They are the standards that Bristol and the likes of Tom Bedlow today, Sam Bedlow are setting. And Lee Blackett, he and his 4 senior coaches, all agreeing contract extensions during the brief time away. Ian Costello, Richard Blaze, Martin Gleeson, Matt Everard. There's his family, or at least the family that he'll spend most time with over the next few months. Start of his first full season in charge after replacing David Young in February, and a dozen wins from his first 15 games. We all know what the next challenge is. Wasps today led out by Thomas Young, another outstanding performer last season. Team who were last season's runners-up, second behind Exeter at the end of the regular interrupted campaign, second best to the Chiefs in the final just 29 days ago. And here they are again after a pre-season that was 15 weeks shorter than the last one. And the players will tell you that it was 15 times all the better as a result of that. Jack Willis, confirmation really that he can do what he's been doing for his club, for his country last weekend. And a moment before kick-off to pay a tribute to Cecil Duckworth, the Worcester chairman who has died recently. He did so much to establish the Warriors as one of the powers of English rugby. Whenever you go to a magnificent 6-way stadium, you will be reminded of that. He contributed so much to the wider community. He was an all-round good bloke. Well, it really is hard to quantify how much Cecil Duckworth contributed to the English game, and he will be missed by so many. Tom Foley in charge today. Greg McDonald and Simon Harding have their flags. Carl Dixon in our nice warm truck has his zapper. That is a lovely November afternoon, however, and it is time to reset. Second against third last season, getting together once more at the start of a new one. What a Sam Bedlow. First Premiership start at fly half for him today. Ordinarily a 12. His job to steer this Bristol ship.
Wait in front.
Nice clearance from Ben Vellacott.
There's a cut line there, please.
It's Callum Sheedy now, very much a test player. He was pulling whale strings yesterday, and it's a huge moment for Bedlow today, Hughes.
Certainly is. He'll be wanting his forward pack just to be able to get him on the front foot to make life that much easier for him.
Involving Patty Leua, a former Wasp, but his first pass of the season wasn't the most accurate, and Wasps will have the line.
It was decent shape, just a poor execution, but they'd created the little overlap.
Stay there, Bristol, please.
That pass goes to hand there, playing exactly how Bristol like to start games, getting around the corner. As we were talking about beforehand, it's what they do when they get into the 22 that's the key work on for them this year.
That was Joe Joyce rising high to disrupt Wasps' line out, and again Bedlow can get Bristol moving once more, but not for long. This is Jimmy Gopperth. Now Sopawanga, more used to seeing him at fly half. He again in an unusual position at fullback. See how he goes.
I really like it. Another decision maker, another person that can control the game. Then Jimmy Gopperth, Umaga, plenty of experience and know-how.
All black 10s at fullback, it'll never catch on.
Stationed underneath this is the winger, Henry Purdy, back after missing tail end of last season with a hamstring problem. Randall to Bedlow. Now Piatau, not quite linking up with Leua. That little connection not there at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's their third attacking ball. They've gone out to the wide and they've made 3 turnovers, so they've got to just get their core skills in those wider channels that much better.
Hold step.
Bedlow with the kick. And the catch by Bassett.
Hold, Tommy.
Now that might be news. Adi Alokan, relatively new face over the last couple of months or so, joining initially on a short-term contract. He's had that extended, and in the end they were shoveled out of play.
Yeah, the footballing skills of Nizi Adi-Alokan. It's not the best of touches, was it? It reminded me of Man United at the moment. However, the goalkeeping prowess of Peter Schmeichel, he makes up for that really well and gets the offload away.
Stay 2, please.
Peter Schmeichel, how old are you?
Question mark closing already. On the back.
Prowess of Alex Stepney there.
Step up. Jan.
You'd have preferred Kasper Schmeichel, wouldn't you?
There's only one Schmeichel. Only one Tommy Taylor. And that bouncing ball for Vellacott to gather in.
Tackle, release now. Don't go in. No.
Wasps just want a bit of time on the ball now, don't they? Bristol, although they've made mistakes, they've looked dangerous getting into those channels, creating overlaps. They don't want to be giving them loose ball.
Use it, please.
This is Tim Cardle, Joe Launchbury, of course, part of England's big physical effort yesterday. So Cardle getting a go today. And Umaga, in a season he had. So Kibarigi likewise trying to get on the end of it, but couldn't control it. So this is O'Connor, a former Wasp, running against old mates today. Never really got much of an opportunity in the Premiership. And we will come back for the knock-on.
So he's kicked it into his own man there. There's
Really
no
good challenge here from Zach Kibarigi, just wanting to deflect that ball backwards. Doesn't quite regather it.
Did that quite a lot last year, Kibarigi. He's so good at getting in the air and getting up. He just needs that quite a few times he knocks the ball forward. If he can just develop that skill, he'll be unbelievable.
I think it's a timing issue. Almost want to take one step, get beyond the ball, so all of your body is beyond it to then get it back. Just chucking a right hand out, you just quite clearly lose that sense of control.
Come on, guys, let's go.
Here, Johnny.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Ben Handstand the back foot.
Harry Randall, the scrum half, you'll remember his record-breaking 15-second try in the Challenge Cup final against Toulon. And he ships it out to Pietau. Randall again involved, and Bedlow was running around trying to create a little bit of space, but that space was occupied by Bassett and Co. So Randall this time puts boot to ball. De Jong.
Wait, James.
And clattered away.
We've spoken a few times about Bristol's attacking shape. You can see how they hold the defence tight, bring them in with decoy runners, and then feed it out the back to Randall coming around the corner, and that creates the 4-on-3 on the outside. Wasps defend it well, but they'll just be slightly concerned, Wasps, about the space that Bristol are finding themselves out in those wide channels. And the accuracy hasn't been there. This time Wasps defend it really, really well. Bassett closing the option out to go to the wing, but that's how Bristol want to play.
Wasps are all offside back line.
Okay, thank you. Penalty advantage.
So with that advantage, can Leua conjure?
Hold. Still penalty advantage from the line out.
This is Vui. Absolute threshing machine last season. He was magnificent for Bristol. Whether it was the second row or the back row, Bedlow left it late, got clattered, but really testing that Wasps defensive line. Leua.
Line out. They've come down and popped. Everybody's come up.
See the speed that Randall's being tasked at playing at. He wants to get the ball up and make the most of those little opportunities that they're creating into the wide channels by not hanging around at the breakdown before Wasps can get their defence lines settled, get the line speed up. The ball's in and away. And Wasps aware that they need that line speed just drifting forward off that line out, encroaching into the 10 metres.
Jan, I'll speak to the same then. Just if I give you a mark, please try and stay on it, because that's what we talked about beforehand, isn't it? That's fine, it's not a problem.
He's done
yeah, it makes life easier.
A little kicking. Sam Bedlow in recent times. And of course the job of Callum Sheedy. A little bit in the Premiership Cup last season. What about the Premiership? Whoa, that is a bullet. That'll do. Sam Bedlow off and running. Bristol off and running. 7.5 minutes gone. Wasps 0, Bristol 3.
It's a lovely start for him, wasn't it? Took a few minutes for Bristol to start finding those passes, finding those holes in there, in those 15-metre channels, and for Sam Bedlow straight out in front. Perfect.
Ball lost by Holmes as he rose high. Adeolukan chasing after it. Oh, and Adeolukan with those footballing skills, trying to do what Johnny May did 24 hours ago and very nearly conned on a second time. And right now, Bristol have started with that much more energy and poise than they did in the semi-final.
Well, it's a killer because Bassett gets his hand up. They misjudged the jump on the kick-off. But then no one in, clearing up behind. Adeolukan. Sure. They'll be very glad Umanga got across, though his kick wasn't ideal, and that gives Bristol this shot. Penalty coming, they've got advantage, just need to get this back.
She's gone early onto him in the air and then held him in the air before he's even hit the ground.
The ball was snatched initially by Joe Joyce, and then the penalty came. There was a feeling in the semi-final, I know the players thought that they were knocked off balance, caught out by Wasps' intensity a few weeks ago, but oh goodness, they have righted that issue so far today as Jan Thomas rolls across.
Really positive start from them, taking their points. Now it's so important for them just to keep that scoreboard ticking over. Big opportunity now.
Byrne, oh, he's only found Gaskell. He's got the shapings of a decent contest at the line-out today.
Yeah, it has. And Wasps have a really nice little defensive unit in the middle of that 5-metre line-outs. Gaskell with his light athleticism, speed into the air, being lifted by Willis, who's so good at shaping his body in contact that if he doesn't win that, they've got one of the prime people to disrupt them all straight in through where the ball will be taken. It's a real challenge for Bristol. They're obviously going to want to go to the corner, as all teams are at the moment. Opportunity to not only get pressure, but get that 5-pointer. But it's going to be tough against these men.
Louis winning this one for Bristol. Randall happy to let the Oxen do the work early on. Carries on, happy enough to do that, and Brian Byrne peels away. Means that Harry Thacker will be out until the new year, so Byrne will be busy, and now Bedlow with the crossfield kick, looking for Purdy. Just a little bit too much.
Number 1 pulling men out more.
Good option off that penalty advantage, just to try and put a bit of heat on Zach Kibirigi. And Lima Sopawanga out on this left wing. But the damage was done up front, Ben.
Much better line-out drill in the air. And once they spewed those Wasp shirts out of the side,
Step, guys, please.
not a lot that Tommy Taylor can do. There's the little shift. You can see all those black shirts getting lost. Tommy Taylor. Slight angle.
Options as well.
Again, the challenge for the ball in the air. It was led this time by Carl.
We'll knock on Bristol.
It's actually, it was picked up by someone in front. It could be a penalty to Wasps, this.
Knock on by 9. We'll come over here. Yeah?
Keep coming
Was
to
he
me.
in front? So there, this is the
you good
knock-on there, and it's picked up by a guy in front. That should be more than a scrum for the knock-on.
I thought it was in line with him there.
It's from Jimmy. I'll do it.
Not clearly for me, Kieran. Guys, last scrum was exemplary. Let's do the same again, please.
Hips. Locks. Let's go.
I'll step back. Just stay back down, yeah. Crouch. Bind. Set. Stay on the ball. Wasps.
Shields angling his body to get a view of that ball. And he then hands to Gopeth. Velikot. Into the stands.
Really evenly matched in that scrum. Brooks can't get his right shoulder up that he wants to, which means that Brad Shields has to run the long way around the back row of Bristol. Really good exit under the circumstances.
It's actually good to see McIntyre and Brooks back in particular. You'll remember that they were two of the COVID-11 who missed the final because they were isolating. Brad Shields missed it as well. He actually tested positive, Brad Shields, but they're all back involved today. Joyce and then Byrne running around and trying to involve Adeolokan, but that's gone forwards.
A real sense of frustration of Bristol. A couple of line-outs 5 metres out, they've not been able to convert. Another opportunity there, knock on. They've had plenty of possession, only 3 points on the board.
The moment is inside. Play up.
It's Willis rolling his way through, drawing the penalty.
A big loss, they're going to lose the field position here, and it all comes down to the lack of disguise from Brian Byrne as he comes around the corner. You can see he's going to pass that ball back inside. Thomas Young reads it, gets into the channel, gets in between Byrne and Adeolokan, and just prevents it. You've got to show a bit more disguise, otherwise you're giving the clues away to the tail gunners off the back of the line-out.
His neck injury will keep Harry Thacker out until the new year, maybe beyond. And if you look at Thacker, you look at Morahan, who's missing today on the wing, and Charles Piatow, all of those will be out at least until January. Bristol are missing some fairly major ball transporters at the moment.
Yeah, it's massive for them, especially when you consider what they bring in attack, and Bristol Bears' game is based on their attack.
What can the other Piatow do? Finds Leua. Oh, that's been given away to De Jong, and Thomas got back, but it was picked up the loose ball by Kibirigi. First time that Wasps have a toe hold, Benny.
O'Connor did really well to stop that in its tracks. They get it back though.
Omanga. Now Cardle. Velikot explores this blind side. That was a Big tackle from Leua. Wasps will have the scrum from the knock-on.
Just a knock-on in the tackle.
That's one of those where he sort of knows his hand's in the channel, but you can't give it. You can't give that because it is wrapping around the thigh. It's a natural tackle shape, but he knows exactly what he's doing.
That's kind of been the game for Bristol at the moment. Their inaccuracies are really costing them. I think they want to...
Double checking that knock-on.
Time off, Tom.
Yes,
Even having seen it, I think it'll be harsh. As I said, I think he does know what he's doing, but
that arm then,
it's not an unnatural
the tackle is an
shape.
afterthought to the knock-on then, Dicko, yeah?
Yeah, the ball's hit first, and then the arm comes round after.
Okay, let's just have a quick look.
So was the tackle an afterthought to the knock-on? That's on Tom Foley's mind.
So you're saying, Dicko, that the left arm is outstretched first, and then he goes to tackle afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So for me, there's a lot of cover there from what I can see from those angles, Dicko. I'm just going penalty only.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. Yeah. Okay then, lads, so it's a deliberate knock-on because he's gone for the ball first, then the tackle is just a penalty.
Having been in those positions, you know exactly what you want him to do. If he is going to get the ball away, I'm going to make sure I shut it down as well as tackle the man. You try and disguise it as best as you can, but fair play to the referees for picking up on it because they're trying to reward good attacking play.
Having made that decision, though, is it not a yellow card? It's one of those that, you know, I said I probably wouldn't give it, but if you do give it, is it not a yellow card?
Yeah, because it's cynical.
It's now a line-out. Tommy Taylor with Willis at the front, Gaskell in the middle, and swapping with Cardle. It is Willis and Gaskell and Cardle latch on, and Tommy Taylor will try to get that ball back as well. In fact, it's Young who peels away with it, but these are the first real moments of peril for Bristol's defence. There's a penalty advantage coming. You'll have heard Tom Foley tell us. McIntyre amongst those helping to clear things out. Gaskell takes the hit, then lays it back. Young again. Captain today in the absence of Joe Launchbury.
Potential no-arms tackle in there.
Penalty advantage from 9 not rolling.
Penalties coming against Harry Randall. You heard why. And again, Thomas Young, who's now picked up the ball 3 times this close to the line. Bristol's defence having their locks rattled by Vellacott and co, and Umanga. You know what he can do, even in the face of some pretty insistent defence. Cardle, and now they'll spread it, and then flipped across over the top by Sopawanga, who was the intended recipient from Josh Bassett, but that didn't quite work. However, lengthy advantage, back we come.
Initially not rolling away against 9 on the 15. Then we've got an offside against Jake here in midfield.
Yeah, well, that's a few penalties now racking up. It's really good to see Watson their first time that they've got into Bristol 22.
Well, yes, you've got the choice, lads. You've got one on the one over here on the 15, okay, or you've got one in midfield. Okay.
That pressure's now going to count for points for them.
I'm signalling. Stay on the line, please, guys.
It's just a little bit loose, wasn't it? Here's, I think, Bristol desperation in defence, not always that accurate. I think Dan Thomas here, maybe. And there's another one where our forward just drops underneath. I think Dan Thomas also had one where trying to get underneath, they're not able to wrap the arms. They've just got to be a bit careful there.
Look for that wrap for me. Yeah.
Referee just asking John Afoa just to look at the wrap.
Yeah, just like
Jimmy Gopeth has done that once or twice before, approaching the halfway point of this first half on the opening weekend, and Wasps are level. Wasps 3, Bristol 3. Brad Shields down, Benny.
Yeah, he was struggling halfway through that. I think maybe just tweaked the knee, maybe had a slight twist in it, but took him a while to run it off, and he's just getting a bit of treatment now. That'd be a concern. Just one of the areas. When you look at who both sides have lost, obviously Bristol have lost a lot of talent and a lot of attacking flair. Wasps have lost a lot of their leadership. They won't want to lose Shields now.
Lee Blackett was talking about him this week, and as much as he didn't use this phrase, it kind of summed up what he was saying. He's saying that he is the club captain of all things unflashy. He kind of stacks boxes and tapes them up and makes sure that everything arrives in fully working order. He doesn't always necessarily catch the eye, Benny. He's one of those players.
Which shows his talent, because when he was playing Super Rugby, he did do that. He was the guy throwing the long passes and standing out on the wing. So he's able to play in different leagues in different ways.
He's back on his feet. And
In front, wait, 7! No.
Oh, that cannons off the chest, and frustration for Bristol and for Henry Purdy.
Oh, it's a massive bailout for Wasps because they got put under pressure. Jacob Umang and forced onto his left foot. And it's Henry Purdy off the chest and a knock on.
Here we go.
Guys, that's been really good discipline so far. Let's keep it going.
Really good counter-attack opportunity.
Really
but Wasps haven't had to do a huge amount for their points and for their field position.
Let's go. Got the blocks. Here we go, Crockett. Yeah, let's go. Knocks. Point away.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Thomas, Kieran Brooks, locking horns. John Arfoa and Simon McIntyre on the other side. Randall having a peer around, trying to see where the ball is, and it's protected by Shields. Sing away, and Gopeth goes on his own little Kiwi excursion.
Okay, I've watched him for accidental offside, straight into 2.
So get 2 wide, made no impact on the tackle for me, Simon. I'm happy.
Okay.
It's the voice of Simon Harding, the assistant referee, chipping in, but Tom Foley happy to let play develop. Had no serious bearing on what we're seeing. Velikot hoisted high. Adiolokan positions himself and takes it high and takes it well. He's being challenged, however, by Jack Willis, and in the end just a little bit too hard.
Just looking at the work of Dan Thomas,
Gone straight on top of him.
and again you talk about the non-flashy stuff. He's a man that epitomises that, but causes so much pressure with what he's doing. Just that relentless tyro off the base of the scrum. Gets up, just watch what he does with his arm, pulls away Velikot's hand so he dislodges the ball, then he gets back up, chases down Gopeth, doesn't make the tackle but sends Gopeth into heavy traffic where the scrum's just come, straight back up, and he's there putting pressure on Velikot as he makes the kick. It's that sort of energy that just radiates throughout the team. If you've got a player doing that sort of stuff, and we see what Willis does with his energy for Wasps, makes a massive difference to the players around them.
He will tell us that he learnt so much from George Smith when Smith left Wasps to go to Bristol.
Yeah, he's exactly that sort of player, Smith, isn't he?
Involved once more, Dan Thomas, to set up Brian Byrne on another one of those arcing runs. Just having a sense that there might have been some hope there of the turnover, but Bristol so far holding on to it nicely. Thomas once more involved, and this is Vui. Oh, that's gone forwards. Once again, the frustration for Bristol. Approaching the try line, coughing up possession.
Yeah, just not respecting the ball. Chris Vui is a really good carry, but we've got to look after the ball. At the moment, they're showing flashes of what they can do, but not putting enough pressure on Wasps because they're just not keeping hold of the ball.
In front hold, that's advantage over.
Gopeth with John Arfoa doing what he could to restrict the length of that clearance.
When you're in attack, you have to put the defence under pressure. You've got to stress them physically as well as mentally. And too often, they're just letting Wasps off the hook. It's a really good carry. Jacob Umang stays in that fight, and it's a good strip. But you have to look after the ball, especially when you're getting into those red zones.
Thomas Holmes rising highest. Bedlow at Leu. Oh, that was a testing run. And Tommy Taylor happy enough to slow things down again. It's a little loose in midfield, and it's picked up by Willis, and then he loses it. And we will come back after a couple of knock-ons, and it'll be a Wasp scrum.
They're just showing here how Bristol are changing their delivery in the line-out just to hold the tail gunners and also Tommy Taylor take away his line speed. By landing, Taylor has to stop. which means, and so does the men out, the men outside Umanga, which means Leua can time his run onto the ball, and he's running against a player that's lost all his momentum, and he gets half through. That drags in 2-3 extra bodies, which gives them the space to attack in off it.
Let's have a chat with Ian Costello, who is Wasps defence coach. Ian, we were just talking about Brad Shields, and we maybe unkindly called him the captain of the unflashy, but what role does he play in your defensive setup?
Yeah, you've probably hit the nail on the head. He does a lot of the unseen work. You know, he runs the blind side of our defence, leads our line speed, leads our kick chase. Yeah, exactly as you said, he's a gritty player, and he's never found one thing in terms of effort.
If we're watching your defence this season, Ian, I know it's not been long since the last season, but how are you hoping it might develop? What should we look out for?
Yeah, good. Well, I think we've been guilty of being inconsistent over the last couple of seasons, and we're really pleased since lockdown, I suppose, that it was a lot more consistent across the things that we think are the most important. So we just want to hit the ground running, pick up where we left off, and I think unfortunately today we're just 5% off a couple of those effort jobs, the ones that don't require a lot of talent. We're just a small little bit off today, so we need to get a handle on those straight away.
I was just wondering, actually, what's the chatter on the walkie-talkie? What's the main topic of conversation at the moment between the coaches?
Well, as I said, we take a huge amount of pride in things like our kick chase, contesting the breakdown, our line speed, and it's just not quite where it was when we finished, and we just need to get back there to be competitive against a team like Bristol, and we're just giving them far too many opportunities. They've had half a dozen lineouts to launch their attack off, and we just can't give them that many opportunities.
Great, thanks for your time, Ian.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think he's spot on. You know, at the moment, the scoreline is, they're comfortable. It's 3-3, not a lot between the two teams, but if you are going to keep allowing entries into your 22, at one point in this game, Bristol Bears, it will click, and they're going to hurt you. So I like the fact that his father and his team is relentless, and it is that 5% of the kick chase where someone does something, and a Leua sidesteps someone, all of a sudden the game gets away from you.
On a side note, doesn't he sound like Liam Neeson in Taken? The chatter on the walkie-talkie. I will find you and I will kill you.
I still think Mark McCall's first choice. He'd be back up. He'd be stunt double, maybe. Velikot, Sopawanga, and Gopeth and Bassett herring after this, and Piers O'Connor just happy to shovel that out of play.
It's so nice. Spoke about Sopawanga, his ability at 15, just splitting some of your game controllers. Got Sopawanga out left, his decision-making to Jimmy Gopeth, and it's his skill. Not too many revolutions, making sure that Piers O'Connor has to play that. Very simple, just a couple of passes, really simple drill, and they march up the pitch 30 metres.
In you come then, please. Not too wide, Simon. Step, please. Step in. Step in. Contest for the ball up he can.
Taken in by Tim Cardle. Impressed whenever we saw him last season. He's getting an early opportunity at the start of this one. Willis spat out of the back, and Jan Thomas makes sure that process continues. Gopeth got it away quickly, and that's really nice from Umanga, and again he manages to pull it back, but it went forwards, and Bassett is frustrated.
Yeah, it's really nice play, isn't it, from Wasps? Even off a bouncing ball, they're able to get to those edges, and that's got to be a concern for Bristol. Same shape, you're kind of thinking this ball's got to go now. Four-man overlap. He tries to take contact and offload through. But under pressure there. The ball goes a little bit early. He thinks that Kibarigi is touching down untouched.
Yeah, so
part of England's coaching weeks, Jacob Umanga, and the build-up to the Autumn Nations Cup, and I know that he's really caught the eye of the coaches. Eddie loves the way particularly, and he referenced the try that he scored in the final, coming in off the blind side, playing on the game line, really asking questions of defences late.
I think he's got a really nice feel for the game. When the game breaks up, he's quite a nice, instinctive rugby player. He's got structure around him. Jimmy Gopeth, he'll kick the corners. He'll certainly be able to navigate and control the game. But what Umanga brings is a real vibrance to the game. He's got lovely footwork ability, and he showed some of that just then.
Incidentally, trips to Newcastle, trips to Kingston Park, always amongst the highlights of any season, and we've got them back this season. Friday night, we're off there again for Falcons against Sale. Dean Richard and Co.'s first home game since promotion, winning at the Rec yesterday. And another first next Sunday with London Irish inviting us into their sparkling new home in Brentford. The Exiles playing home games back in the capital again for the first time in 20 years since the move to Reading. Leicester, the first to pay them a visit. And then after the game at around 6:30, rugby tonight in its new slot this season. All the big talking points will be chewed over. That new London Irish Stadium, by the way, looks absolutely fabulous, sharing it with Brentford this season. Any of you who trundle along the M4, the A4 on a regular basis will have seen it grow over the last few years, but I'm looking forward very much to spending some time there this season.
Set. Ready? Come on, John! Come on, John! Come on, John! Bristol!
Wasps putting the shove on. Bristol winning back possession.
We've only gone forward on one side. It's gone round on the mark. We're going again. Nobody's got dominance to go forward there. We're going again. Pull out. Come across. Come across.
Just a lot of movement. Not actually going anywhere, and then as a result, a little bit of a step to the side. Maybe Jan Thomas might just need to be careful he doesn't do that again. Those hips walking out to his left. It has been so evenly matched up front, either side giving an inch.
Crouch!
John Arfoa chattering away. Pretty high-end cover with Carl Sinclair pushing and shoving for England yesterday. Now this time Wasps were early. They can bring it away via Holmes initially. Back by Leoa. Thrown away by Randall. Picked up by Sopawanga.
No hands.
This is Cardle.
Hold that.
Bellicott to Gaskell. Brooks amongst those, clearing some space over the ball for Willis. To shuffle it back for Bellicott again.
Brad Shields is effectively out of the game here. Knee's not recovering.
Okay, we've got that. Then we've had that. I don't think you've got one hand on the floor, and then you're lifting with the other arm. So
I was having a conversation with Ali James, who is Wasps
replacing 8
head of medical, and immediately the change, and here comes Alfie Barbary.
Going off, Brad, I think.
It's actually Tom Willis who's coming on.
Going off.
Barbary, one of the options. They've got two options in the back row, but it is Tom Willis who's on. And that is a painful, disappointing start to Brad Shields' season.
Replacement going please.
Fortunately for that man, they've stacked the bench with a couple of decent back row options. Barbary, obviously coming through the ranks of late as a hooker, but deployed by Wasps in the Premiership last season in the back row. What an impact he can make off the bench. But we've all been raving about Jack Willis. Tom Willis is another hugely talented rising star.
Gorgeous smile as well.
There's a story about that. Next time he's interviewed, we need to ask him how he lost his tooth.
Well, there you are. He's our man of the match.
Our man of the match, Alfie Barbary, is now with Martin Bayfield. Let's record it. We won't have to say it at the end of the game.
Ball is played.
Gopperth. Where's he off to? Oh, he's making some decent space through the middle of that Bristol defence, and now Thomas Young did well to hold on to a ball that looked eager to go its own way momentarily, but it's still Wasps, and Gaskell on the floor and driven on. Bellicott. Umanga. This is De Jong. Gaskell waits. They back to the new man too, Tom Willis. Umanga takes a painful clobber from Thomas. Gaskell again, or maybe Cardle. It is Cardle latching on to Gaskell with Willis driving over the top as well. Young on his marks once more. Instead, however, it's Brooks.
Line up, lads, please.
And a scrap for some dominance on Bristol's 22. Again, it's Thomas Young getting through a lot of work at the moment. Short range work. To double figures phase-wise for the first time in the match.
That's really good defence on Bristol Bears at the moment.
Chip over the top, not what it needed to be.
Very good defensive set. Wasps came very direct, everything off Ellicott. Not only did they make their tackles and front up physically, but no soft penalties given away, forcing Umanga to kick the ball away. Bristol Bears will take that as a victory for them.
They will, but I don't think Lee Blackett will be too upset. They went through all those phases. Thomas Young just applauding Jacob Umanga. The control was good. They played direct. In the end, that sort of crossfield kick, there's the little half break from Gopeth, gets his hands free. But they didn't panic once they got onto the 22.
Really.
And that kick, if it's executed well, it was on.
Yeah, I think the difference in terms of the attack is that Wasps have actually been able to go through the things that they've wanted to do. This is at the end where they're not really going anywhere. Umanga's trying to change up what they're doing. Yes, it goes out. At least they've stuck to their script.
Chatting with Thomas Young this week, and I wondered what areas he wanted to improve on. He actually developed his game early on at the beginning of his career as an attacking ball-carrying 7, and he kind of feels that he's been labelled with a more of a defensive role over the last few seasons. He wants to have his hands on the ball more often this season and do a little bit more of what we saw just then.
Absolutely. I think they've got a really nice blend. Brad Shields has gone off, but when you look at it, you've got the poacher and Jack Willis. Thomas Young will want to get his hands on the ball, but it's all been about defence and pressure in the right areas. It is that man. Once again, Jack Willis with an all-important turnover. But Bristol, I mean, we're talking about Wasps and their attack, about trying to impose that onto the defence. Bristol Bears just not respect to the ball enough for me. 30 minutes into the game, simple drills, passing behind on the floor, and allowing quality players like Jack Willis to have those involvements.
How many turnovers was it last season?
44, was it? Something like that. Enough.
Yeah, he did all right.
The thing about that, and what Hugo was talking about where you're playing, is you know the threat of Jack Willis. So when you've got the ball, you have to be looking at how you can run him off it, keep him away. But when you make mistakes like that, it's very, very difficult to do that because everyone's suddenly panicking about the ball on the floor. We saw there Heenan just took his eye off Willis. That's all he needs, that fraction of a second to get his head over the ball, and you're no way going to shift him because of the body position he can get into.
Both sides finding their way at the start of a new season, scrapping away, and it's Wasps who are ahead for the first time by 6 points to 3. Athletically taken by James Gaskell. Bristol will be thinking, though, that they are much more in this contest than they were, what was it, 6 weeks ago in the semi-final. The Wasps running away with it, 23-5 at this point. O'Connor. Remember that Charles Piatow gone until the new year with his Achilles problem. Bedlow, temporary replacement, you'd imagine, for Callum Sheedy. He took the ball in and couldn't bring it back.
I thought it was quite interesting what Pat Lam had to say before the game, reflecting on that game of 6 weeks ago. He said the 5 tries, a lot of it came from their mistakes. Well, they've not really learnt those lessons today. Their poor attack is allowing Wasps to get in the game. Some great poaching from Thomas Young and Jack Willis, but their inaccuracy is really starting to hurt them.
Just for any young back rower looking, just look at the decision-making of Thomas Young and how he decides how he's going to attack this. He doesn't go straight over the top. He realises actually the best thing's going to be to wrap an arm underneath the body and anchor myself in and then use my left arm to attempt to lift it. So rather than two hands over the top of the ball, that right arm comes underneath, anchors him in so no one can shift him. And then you can see Randall going off his feet. Piatow can't shift him. The referee goes, actually, he's trying to play the ball, and you couldn't shift him.
How many is it? 6 man. Time to adjust. Take forwards, I think. 9's gone in. Okay, put somebody in the channel.
Jake Heenan trotted across to the lineup and then was told he wasn't needed. So Taylor picking out Willis. And Thomas Young, who was standing off, and here's the other Willis, the man who's recently joined us, Tom Willis, and now Tommy Taylor. A little bit more momentum, a bit more urgency about Wasps' work right now. Vellacott, though, floored by Arfoa. That was a big tackle. What a tackle from Arfoa. That tends to end momentums.
Henry.
It's a great tackle from Arfoa and Chris Vurry.
Didn't have any impact on the tackle.
For a big man to be that flexible.
Yeah, if he does, but the tackle.
And to survive that clearer. Have a look at it, straight onto the ball, wins that battle. Jimmy Gopov does his best to try and wrestle it.
Just the hesitation of Vellacott, because he wanted to have a little snipe himself and hold that guard defender. Actually then, Tom Willis was screaming for the ball just to come straight off the floor because they had a bit of an overlap down that side.
Stephen Luatua,
I was going to say,
incidentally, who missed the Challenge Cup final, you might remember, because he stayed at home to be there for the birth of his new daughter. Now has a leg injury and is likely to be out for maybe 3-4 weeks. One by Joyce.
No, leave it now. No. I didn't see the start.
Randall back to Joe Joyce. Started the European final when Luatua withdrew.
Hold there, please.
Randall pressurised by Willis, gets plenty of height on that. Kibarigi times the leap, but so too did Purdy with the drive through.
Use it, please.
Joyce trying to hold him up.
Use it, please. Step back, Jan. Step back, Jan. Don't pull him through.
So the final 5 minutes.
Stop 5. Stop 5.
5. Get back.
Taken by O'Connor. Once more, Bristol with the ball. How accurate can this latest set be? Oh, there's the answer. It's gratefully snaffled up by Joan de Jong.
We'll just double check that, maybe the same as the last one.
Was that a deliberate knock on? Carl Dixon will be having a look. Vellacott. O'Connor. Safawanga watches the ball driven out of play. Let's have another look at what Carl Dixon was looking at.
From miles away up here, I thought it came off the head.
Yeah, same as the last one.
First
So
one to
he's got it
penalty, that's a
one-handed.
penalty, isn't it?
Time is off.
Save for Bristol.
So 14's gone with his arm first.
He's reaching
Tackle
more.
secondary, we're coming back to the penalty.
That's exactly what Tom Foley's decided.
From the AR. Yeah. Just here, I think.
There you go, Tom. That's it.
Perfect. Complete.
Andy Logan, part of that history-making Connacht team that won the Pro 12 4 years ago now. He scored a try in the final against Leinster. Working hard for Pat Lam once again, although neither he or his boss will be overly impressed with that latest passage of play. John Muldoon as well, part of that story as well, of course.
He's gone off step behind him before he kicked it.
Really poor. Really poor this half. A lack of fluency, accuracy in the first half is killing them. They've got to find out another way of trying to win a game if your attack's not quite firing. It's all about defence right now, though.
What a kick that was. Right down onto the 5-metre line. No competition from Bristol.
Ball to the front.
Can't lose too many bodies on the floor.
Taylor initially to Gaskell, and then the cavalry arrived, and the penalty against John Arfoa. So this is a free shot. Dan Robson scoring a try from a similar position in the semi-final. Bristol will be eyes wide open here.
Ball was transferred to the line, it's over.
regardless, can a tap and go here?
Willis. Slightly different kind of drive for the line. But it takes them to within a couple of metres. And they're very nearly there, Simon McIntyre, but he's been driven back. Willis. Jack Willis with the muscle of Cardle doing what he can do. Dan Thomas thrashing away for Bristol in the middle of all that. Oh, he got his hands on the ball and then had to give it up. And Brooks once more will push for all his worth. And now McIntyre. And then Bristol's defence finishes on top.
Huge moment in the game for the psychology, particularly at Bristol. And it's Pietau, first man in. Arfo is on the right side, so he's not stopping anyone attacking Pietau and clearing him away. And the strength.
36.
Could be some interesting half-time talks, I think. Bristol will be furious of how they've played, but it's a three-point game for Wasps. Lots of possession, few opportunities, but you feel like they've been in control.
Stay two for me, Thomas.
John Arfo has played a fairly significant role over the last 5-10 minutes. A couple of big, potentially try-saving tackles, leading to important turnovers. And the countdown tells us that time's up at the end of a physical first 40 minutes at the Rico. Not overflowing with quality, I think it would be fair to say. Both sides with room for improvement, and maybe time right at the end for Bristol to do something that they've not managed to do in the first half so far, and string some passages of possession together to take them over the line. There's a long way to go.
Still a penalty advantage.
Taken on by Holmes. Bedlow waits.
Number 7, change.
Yeah, cross with me on the 15, Tom.
Get one more shot at it if they want it.
On the 15.
Bedlow slowly wanders across and will try to pick his spot as deep into Wasps' half as he can. Oh, and he's not found it. He's not found it. Tried to overcook it, a little bit too ambitious, and that draws a 40 minutes. It brought us penalties, brought us a lot of outstanding defence, and that was probably about it. Sam Bedlow early on for Bristol, Jimmy Gopperth replying for Wasps, and at the break at the Rico it is Wasps 6, Bristol 3. Yes, room for improvement, I think it would be fair to say. Wasps and Bristol both 5-1 with the bookies, by the way, to end the season next June as champions. Only Exeter and Sale have skinnier odds. Those whose business it is to know these things reckon that last season's top 4 will be this season's top 4. We will see. Jacob Amanga gets the second half underway and gathered by Ed Holmes. No changes to either side, by the way, at half-time, so just the one change so far. Brad Shields with the injury in the first half. He was replaced by Tom Willis, so both Willis brothers on the pitch. Sopoaga at fullback today with Matteo Minozzi, who should have been playing for Italy yesterday, but obviously wasn't, given Fiji's issues at the moment.
From a kick.
Directly from a kick, so despite being held up in the choke tackle, Wasps put in.
There's an all-black at the start of a season where he's determined to show what he's all about. We've just not seen the best of Lima Sopoaga so far. He came with great fanfare from New Zealand, you'll remember. I think he'd be the first to tell you that hasn't shone in the way that he knows he can, we know he can.
Bind! Set!
Face in the sunlight, belonging to Jack Willis.
Wasps, use it please!
His brother picking up at the base of the scrum. Gopeth, De Jong, but that was nicely done by Amanga. And then Bassett and releasing the ball, and Sopoaga, and then this is Kimarigi, and that's a brilliant stop. Adeolokan in the end.
Well, they create the opportunity, and Jimmy Gopeth with the delayed pass. Look at how late he leaves this, gets absolutely smashed as a result of it. But that creates the space in the wide channel. Bristol have to stay narrow. And then the inside-outside, really, really good. But as he transfers into that outside arm, just loses it forward.
It's just starting to open up a little bit at the start of this second half. Purdy with the latest thrust down that left-hand side. Oh, and then the kick that's gone straight out on the full. Andy Uren, by the way, missing these opening skirmishes of the season with a foot injury. He and Harry Randall sharing the shirt last season. Randall's at the beginning of this.
They called 6.
Velikot Gopeth taken on by Tom Willis. There's another Willis. Jack Omanga. Sopoaga finding once more Josh Bassett. Sopoaga again moving round into the first receiver position, but he was a decoy. This is McIntyre. Bristol are a man down at the moment, but they've been rescued, Ben.
That sticks through Manga, and they're in big trouble, Bristol here. Accelerates onto it, but just can't hold it. But he'd seen the gap.
Yeah, we're sorry that time's
It's
up.
that feel he has when to be deep, when to be right on top of it. The delivery could have been a bit better. Had it been that, I think we'd be seeing our first try of the game.
In the middle of all that, Bristol were having to defend without Joe Joyce, who took a bash to the head. Hughes, what have you got?
Yeah, just having a look at that last break, it's really nice in the way in which they construct some of their attack. Josh Bassett, you see here, highlighted just how they're trying to get him into the game and just start dislocating the Bristol Bears defence. It's a lovely line there, and all it does is just create far bigger gaps. You see Purdy removed away from Leua, and then it's really nice hands, just giving Zach Kibarigi that one-on-one, only a few metres away from that being the first try, but it was starting to show their attacking intent and prowess. All of that pretty accurate for the first time probably in the game.
It's his own player,
Noticed it, Ben, and we can see clearly now that actually poor old Joe Joyce's issue is the left eye.
Yeah, I just saw the doctor trying to check that his vision was all right. See his knee, his own Vui's knee catches him in the eye as he goes to go up, or maybe his hand. Sometimes when you swing your hands forward to go up in the air, I remember nearly knocking Darren Garforth out at a kick-off once. I was quite concerned when he stood up that he was going to hit me back.
his eyes.
Yeah, just swinging forward. Maybe the thumb catches him in the eye. You can see he sort of pulls out of the lift very, very quickly.
Oh yeah, it was definitely the it was Vui, and we think it might be the thumb as it went up. But oh, that is that's sore and painful.
He won't want any passes from left to right, will he?
It's his eye, lads. We're just going to give him time to do it, all right? It's his eyes. We're just going to give him time.
While poor old Joe's being patched up, we can just remind you of what we're about next weekend, and thrilled to say that we're heading back to the northeast, the Premiership, stretching back up to Kingston Park again. Falcons against Sharks, 7 o'clock Friday night, BT Sport 1 HD, and then on Sunday, once we've had another round of Autumn Nations Cups, it is London Irish back in London. And against Leicester, who started pretty handily yesterday against Gloucester, BT Sport 2 HD, and then once that's done, we have got rugby tonight at 6:30. Again, BT Sport 2 HD.
Here we go, Brooker. Let's go, kid. Big set. Let's go, Yanni. Let's go.
So we wonder exactly how much Joe Joyce can see out of that left eye, but he's packing down in this scrum.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Ready.
Jake Heenan trying to control it at the base, but up ahead of him, Wasps were shoving for all their worth and drawing the penalty.
Well, Wasps have gone up a gear in the second half, haven't they? First time, really, either side's had any sort of
Just here, Jimmy, I'm afraid, yeah.
advantage at the scrum. Kieran Brooks, McIntyre.
Jimmy Coppeth going for the posts. Another season ahead for the seemingly ageless Kiwi. I suspect he's still a while away from shoving his application in for the Allotment Society. So he's a way off retirement just yet. Dying November sunshine, Jimmy Coppeth, 3 penalties, stretching Wasps' lead start of this second half. Wasps 9, Bristol 3.
Yeah, I thought out first, yeah.
Velikot, Jacob Amaga.
3, 4, stop!
It was long and hard. But Ben, we're talking to coaches all the time at the moment about the new season and about development and about how teams might bring on their own games. Where do you think the game might develop? Where are we ripe to see things change over the next 12 months, 24 months, do you think?
I think a big thing for me is probably learning from the different teams and their strengths. Bristol in this area, very, very dangerous. Getting that little break as we see here.
Yeah, here goes Leua, Purdy doing what he can to stay up with him, and Randall was there as well. And Bristol with quick ball for the first time in a long time. O'Connor.
No, didn't take the ball.
It's that Velikot who was over the ball, not far away. It was actually Willis who was over the ball, and now goes Vui. Apologies for the language. Randall. That's a big hit from Juan de Jong, stopping Heenan in his tracks.
That's exactly the point. Good timing of the question there. But exactly the point. Bristol have to score from there. So they have to learn from, and I know the yellow card coming in here as well, which will make it easier, but they have to, having made that break, get over the line.
Try scoring opportunity.
I guess that's what separates the likes of Exeter at the moment, is they'll make similar breaks. They're not just a pick and go side, but then they'll finish them off and they'll go to a different style of attack once they get into the red zone. Now Bristol, can they match this and get the first try of the game?
Well, while we were applauding Joan de Jong for the tackle. It's actually cost him 10 minutes on the pitch because he was offside, as not particularly that one, but the one a little bit later. Vui in the line-out. Bristol gathering around Heenan in the middle of that storm. And everybody involving themselves.
Willis has got the ball. Willis has got in there.
I think it was 46 turnovers last season. He's already adding to that tally this, at least a couple already.
Well, let's go.
He just gets through, and you can see poor transfer as they were trying to get in off the touchline. Pietau got separated from Dan Thomas, and that left arm of Willis just latched onto the ball, dragged his other arm through onto it as well. Just didn't have that security of platform to deal with it there, Bristol.
8 against 8 in this Wasps defensive scrum. They're going to have to clear their lines without the help of Joan de Jong.
Yeah, so therefore you're probably also going backwards a little bit as well, okay? So we scrummage over the mark. All right? Crouch. Bind. Set.
This is Willis. Spiders his way from trouble.
Hold in front. Hold in front.
Amanga somehow manages to clear the ball. Hughes.
Yeah, it's been some good attacking intent. You know, de Jong's not been a good minute for him, but a fairly similar break to what we saw from Wasps. It was de Jong that missed that tackle. You're thinking that could have been an opportunity for Harry Randall to potentially go under the sticks, but it's only a couple of phases later that de Jong ends up falling foul, and that is a definite yellow card. Good decision, but some good attack from Bristol Bears, putting pressure in the area where they haven't spent too much time so far this game.
Simply Joan de Jong's first Premiership yellow card, and Byrne now trying to exploit space that will exist somewhere in that Wasps defensive line. They've drawn the penalty again.
Seatbelt tackle.
Randall, West, who's just come on, had to let him go. A real moment this for Bristol, very nearly there. Ed Holmes took it on. Randall will have to recycle one more time. Pietau. Oh, he twists and turns, and has he done enough, or is he being held up by Cardle? It's a penalty.
The tackle must roll.
Randall. Once more doing what he can do, and this time goes over and scores. Didn't take long for Bristol to find the gap left by the yellow card.
Oh, Randall, very lively with that tap and go. Putting the pace on it, realising that they had Wasps on the ropes and they just needed to keep hammering away at the line. There's the look, just goes little dummy, spins back, pirouettes inside, and then despite being tackled, he's allowed to place it immediately, and he just extends his body, sees the line in front of him. Good score. Bristol really needed to come away with that.
We'll check that anyway.
That'll give them a big boost.
First try of their season. Scored by Randall and converted by Bedlow, and they are ahead for the first time in a long time in this contest. Wasps 9, Bristol 10.
Time is off. We'll just sort that blood out.
Had a few minutes now in that 22. So important that they came away with some points. Got the yellow card. Wasps down to 14 men, and they've absolutely capitalised.
coming in field and doing what he could to challenge Holmes. Draws the knock on.
We're talking before about Bristol and how they haven't been so accurate in their red zone. This is a perfect opportunity. That's Piatow there. For me, you've just got to hold your depth there, knowing that Wasps are going to fly off the line. That's exactly what they did. But if you just hold your feet, give yourself a little bit of time, they do get another opportunity, and it's the quick thinking and quick feet of Harry Randall that gives them that all-important score.
It's about
guys, hold that weight.
49 minutes and 45 seconds, having scored in the 50th minute, after he scored that try against Toulon. We were just still opening the Haribos when he scored. It's any wonder that we had any words over that try. Didn't just catch Toulon by surprise. It was an astonishing start and set the scene for one of the great Bristol Knights down in Aix-en-Provence, winning the Challenge Cup for the first time in their history.
Height that we can maintain. So we're all very low. Let's go again.
There's Tim Cardle. One of those players getting an opportunity, and there'll be lots of opportunities this season with so many of Gallagher Premiership clubs having to do without their test players over the course of the season for large slices of the season.
Bind. Set.
Sense, Ben, that Wasps beginning to get the upper hand here, despite the changes in the front row.
Absolutely, just hinging there. Might have got away with it. Had the competition from Randall not been good at the base and put pressure on. But certainly, as a feature of Wasps games. Oh, who's that under there? Is that the lollipop?
It's Cameron Diaz, former player. Lawrence Delallier.
Just come from filming Lock, Stock and Net.
What's the technical term for one of them scarves, Hugo? Pashmina, is it? Mashmina?
Inadvisable. Just drifts away to the left-hand side, and Bristol retain the slenderest of leads. Wasps 9, Bristol 10. He doesn't miss many, Jimmy Gopperth.
Behind the guys, please.
Bedlow. Wallops it long, back to Gopperth. Jacob Amanga making sure that he stayed onside before chasing the kick. O'Connor in position early. Bedlow. Piatow. Driven on by Holmes. Piatow again, whips it away to Adeoloka. He's tackled by Amanga. Jake Wilmore, one of the newly arrived props. Bedlow putting his shoulder to the wheel. Randall Arfoa. And again, Holmes. Dan Thomas leading the chase for this. Gopperth getting high. Adeoloka got to the party late, but he came away with the ball. Bedlow. Now Piatow and O'Connor. Nicely taken. Held on to by Leua.
No.
That was James Gaskell over the top, but he was told to give it up. O'Connor and then Leua.
Penalty advantage. Moved his foot onto the ball, slowed the ball down. 5.
Penalty on the way off Foa. Piatow once more, and O'Connor again, and now Thomas. Dragged to the floor by Gopeth. Adeolokan, Randall, Foa, and then Woolmore. Bedlow involving
Okay, so we've got you moving
the busy
your foot back
Siali
onto the ball
Piatow
now.
again.
We've got a high tackle by Jimmy over there. We've got one here, we've got one there. 10 minutes, 10 metres in.
Choice of penalties.
Oh, we've got one here by Jake. Well, you've got that one there. Okay, so 5. Ball's available, you then move your foot back onto the ball and slowed it down.
That's Gaskell just trying to get his foot over the ball, and then, despite being held in that position, just covers it.
Joanne Young has served his 10 minutes in the bin. He'll be back on once this kick's completed.
It's been a costly 10 minutes, hasn't it? This goes over.
Yeah,
10 points in that period.
Yeah.
Drifts away. Lead remains a single point. So Joanne de Jong is back on, and Wasps have made a couple of changes. Sam Wolstenholme, young scrum half, has come on for Ben Velicott, and Alfie Barbary, who is destined to be our man of the match, has come on for Thomas Young. Oof. Did just enough Leua to hold on to that ball and launch another attack. Here's Byrne. Randall beyond Piatow. Picked up by Joyce, who manages to lay it back, keep it going. Woolmore. More accustomed to starting matches last season, but he begins a new season off the bench. He's with us now. Thomas, Dan Thomas. Ben Earl off the bench at Twickenham yesterday afternoon. He'll be available again soon enough. O'Connor will have a slightly longer run filling in for Charles Piatow. Vui offered himself. Instead it was Thomas again. Bedlow. And Byrne. It's nice to Woolmore. Bristol just beginning to find the right note a little bit more.
Because he's in a position
At the moment that thought crossed my mind.
Guess who?
Old frustrations and
can't roll back.
an old frustrator, Jack Willis.
8 Wasps in a position of strength over the ball on his feet.
I guess this is an area as well for Bristol. Just if you're going to play in a way that allows you to go round teams, inevitably people are going to be wanting to be in positions to take passes, which means you're sometimes under-resourced at breakdowns, and they will look at today, and Thomas Young's had a couple of steals. We've seen Jack Willis have his usual couple of steals. Just say we just need to be a bit sharper at when it's not on and someone makes the decision to put their head down and go themselves, at getting bodies there quickly.
Pat Lam was listening to that, Ben. We'll have a word with Pat in a moment. We'll let him watch this latest defensive set unfold. Amanga Leua went up very quickly, and Amanga stepped through, and then he bounces off Vui, and he's made 10 metres there. And Byrne comes through, and he was within his rights to come through and did brilliantly. A little bit of help from Woolmore, and Brian Byrne makes sure that that is Bristol ball. So let's have a chat with Pat Lam. Pat, on that point, 5 of your 10 penalties have been conceded at the breakdown. That clearly an issue for you today.
Yeah, I think it's an issue for most teams who play Wasps, but generally it's been good. But I think the big one, and I agree with Ben, when we carry, we spoke about it during the week, and we spoke about it at half time. When someone decides he has to carry, we've got to chase, and it's the chasing that's important, and then also making sure that the ball carrier, gets that ball out quickly and away from his body as quick as he can to help out.
Is this just understandable, Ross, that we're seeing, or deeper issues for you?
Oh, no. It's just one of the things. It's Wasps' strengths. I think, you know, I'm pretty, you know, it's probably the best we've come to the stadium, and with our effort and physicality, and our defence has been good. The big issue has been our turnovers and execution, some simple things that have brought them in the game. But we're right in here, and it's now being see, things like that, exactly that.
We can feel the frustration, Pat.
No worries.
We'll let you get on with your job.
Hang in there.
You
Cheers.
have, well done, thank you. Tom Cruise, who's with us, and Jeff Tamanga-Allen as well, has replaced Kieran Brooks in that front row. It is not easy being a DOR these days, is it? You can feel the frustration.
Can you give an example of what you're talking about? Oh, there you go.
Jack, that was good last time. Stay there for me, please.
Burn. He's played well, picking out Holmes.
He's bound in. He's bound in. I agree, you were bound in. Taking it down by Bristol. 21
Clark's sitting on his side, Tom.
21, collapse then.
Tackle the player down on this side.
Tackle the ball carrier at the back of the ball. Let's go.
Well, it's probably worth saying, having had a fairly critical conversation there with Pat Lam not so long ago. Look at the score, and look at the players that Bristol are missing. Bristol are missing a 15 that would push the best in the Premiership. They're missing them today, and going into the final quarter, they're leading the team that finished runners-up last season.
Yeah, and just missed touch there is actually feeding the problem, which Pat Lam is obviously quite frustrated about.
A little break, and this is Barbary. It's one of the many things that he does to set up this position, and Willis, oh, that ball's got loose. O'Connor was one of those on the floor, and now Bristol can win it back. It's just beginning to open up again.
Great strip from, was it Piers O'Connor who made that strip on Willis? Vital to stop the momentum.
Okay, use it, please. Step back and start onside.
That, and then the tackle of Josh Bassett as well, just to shut down the space.
Well, he had no support when he makes this break, Barbary, does he? So he just manages to squeeze the ball out. No one's expecting him to carry on as part of that tackle situation. Bounces off O'Connor, drags in 2 or 3 extra shirts. Then Willis comes tight on the line. And O'Connor, having been bounced, uses all that frustration to rip the ball. That's a great defensive play.
See, Pat Lam, I think, obviously going to be frustrated at so many parts. But before the game, we speak to Martin Bayford about the culture and them working really hard, staying in the fight. If they do go on to win this, it will showcase them that they know how to win ugly, especially when they haven't been at their very best.
Bristol's man in the blue cap is James Dunn, 21 last month, academy graduate. He has come on for Joe Joyce. And Toby Frick is on as well. Some of these young, relatively inexperienced players that Bristol are using today in the absence of
Ball is out. Ball is out.
some bigger names because of injury, test call-ups. Do they have what it takes to get them over the remaining 15-odd minutes of this match? Piers O'Connor safely under the kick.
Moving across the field, Jake, not forward.
Takes it quickly, is off and running. Tries to get beyond Wolstenholme. And now Purney up to halfway. Taken by Gopeth, who spins it away to Amanga.
Taken back, stop. Okay.
O'Connor. And Fricker. Just to bounce off the initial hit of Gaskell.
No. Ball's here.
And Fricker's done really well to turn that back on the white side. Piatow. This time it's Wasps not rolling away
He's got to move first
from the scene of the crime.
Just to mention, when we speak about Jimmy Gopeth, we always mention about his vision. Here he spots that they're going to be under-resourced. He's dropped himself back, knowing that after that sort of initial break, you're off, and when you've brought your winger up defensively, you're going to be exposed, and scrum halves off and go for a little chip over the top there. He's just covering, constantly scanning the field, looking where the problems might be, both in attack and defence.
Sam Badlow hasn't had many kicks in his career, but this one is a huge one.
Off it goes. Nice sound and nice vision. Oh, how about this? The stand-in kicker, the stand-in 10, Sam Bedlow stretches Bristol's lead to 4, and there's 14 odd minutes to go. Wasps 9, Bristol 13. Levi Douglas signed a new contract this week. Former Bath second row is on for Tim Cardle for Wasps. Will Capon preparing to come on. In fact, he's already on now for Bristol, the replacement hooker taking the place of Brian Byrne.
Don't change. Detached.
Top by Heenan. Nathan Hughes' knee injury will keep him out for a few more weeks. And this time it's Wasps on the floor. Apologies for the language.
Contract is legal. Played by Bristol on the floor.
And again.
Just a bit of extra energy brought on by some of the Wasps youth that's come off the bench. Good take from Vui, set up a lovely drive, but just trying to turn the screw, and the Wasp players got in and amongst it. Good late counter, everyone switched off, thought, well, they're happy not to put anyone in the breakdown. Great time to counter up. Often when you go straight away, everyone's expecting it. The body positions are strong. But as soon as you think that danger's past, you relax and then you're primed to be hit.
Wasps change, Paolo Adogwu on for Chuan Leong. Adogwu going into midfield. Gasker has been with us from the off. Into the arms of Alfie Barbary. He was shuffled back eventually to Tom Cruise, and Cruise and his mates now get rolling. Tom West helping out as well. There's Capon on the floor in his little yellow helmet. West. 24 metres short. This is Barbary. It's been a while since Wasps have been this close to 5 points. Chimanga Allen moving this way and that way, wondering where his muscle might be needed. They went right. And then Capon and Thomas and Bristol's defence being stretched here. And there's a penalty coming. James Dunn flying through, Wasp still stretching. On his knees, Tom Foley. He's not sure. Once again, apologies for the language.
Up you go then, lads, please. OK, so Dicko, I've got the ball grounded on the line eventually, please. Can we just double check how he got there? So on field is try. Can we just have a look at, just to make sure that nothing happened in the build-up?
Well, it might be Jack Willis. Jack Willis may well have scored a try. Carl Dixon and his zapper in the truck will tell us one way or the other.
Keeps his head low. Does he extend over the line? Does he get there without a second movement? You're looking for clear evidence of him not scoring here. That's the question that's been asked by the referee.
sure in the truck whether we've actually got a clear view of the ball on the ground, in which case, Ben, it will be Tom Foley's decision.
The next question Carl Dixon has to ask is, that's not a legal tackle that stops him from Dan Thomas. Dan Thomas doesn't wrap, he just falls at the feet. So if that tackle wasn't there anyway.
Now that's the shot.
It's a hand on the back of the ball there, isn't there?
Okay, no, Tom, from the angles, we have nothing to overturn your on-field decision.
So I've got a grounding. There's no clear infringement before that, so we go with a try, yeah?
Yep.
Yep, thank you.
Try for Jack Willis. 14 of them last season. His first at the start of this, and it's put Wasps back ahead.
Yeah, big moment for the home team. Bristol just starting to get a bit of confidence in this game. That they couldn't go on and defeat this Wasp side, and vital that they came back down and got them points on the board. Jack Willis so good in and around these areas, that strength that he has over the breakdown, that low ability to get into low positions, that flexibility means he can be strong as he dives for the line. Extra leg drive gets him over.
Gopperth's conversion this time straight and true, and Wasps re-establishing a 3-point lead into the final 10 minutes here at the Ricoh. Wasps 16, Bristol 13.
So important that Wasps exit really well. If you think of where that try was born for us, off that maul, off their last restart, where Bristol didn't quite control it, should have, could have cleared their lines, end up costing them 7 points.
Plenty of Bristol fans thrilled to see Jake Armstrong back with us. He's taken the place of John Arfoa. And Armstrong and Bristol trying to get themselves back into this. In that little slither of autumnal sunshine. Loose ball, Capon over the top of it, doing what he can to keep Wasps away from it. He did just enough. Randall and Purdy taking on Barbary. Bedlow flicking it away to Jake Armstrong. Involved once again, it's been a long time. Vui tackled by Tumanga Allen. Paolo Adogwu doing what he can in that defensive line. This is Capon. Bedlow. Leua. Now Fricker. Thomas. Done to his right-hand side, but space was becoming a little bit scarce, so Bristol re-established some more by pulling in field, and Holmes. Bone on bone. Battle at the breakdown's been immense, and now it's opening up again for Pietau, and then Leua very nicely away, and Heenan involved trying to replace Vui, but in the end room ran out.
Did so well to find that edge. It's lovely, so Bristol this. Really nice fluency. Look at the handling and the timing. 2 quick passes, creates that space on the outside. But Chris Vui does run out of space. You've got to credit Wasps, really patient. And it's Paolo Adogwu with Zaku Kibirigi that just bide their time. But in saying all of that, Bristol keep hold of the ball. Vui does well to keep that ball live. You can see Muldoon. Not going to be too many more chances. Bristol Bears really got to make this one count.
Capon, hoisted high, a little bit too high, but it's still Bristol possession. Dan Thomas doing the cleaning up. Not beaten Wasps in the Premiership since they came back a couple of seasons ago. They've not beaten them at Wasps in the Premiership for 20 years when Wasps were playing at Loftus Road. But they are still pressing here, and Randall goes again. Oh, Randall snaking through, nearly there, nearly had a second. Heenan lays it wide, and the try for Pietau.
Could be yellow.
And the 20-year gap between Bristol winning at Wasps in the league may be ending.
Well, we spoke, didn't we, about how you deal with the likes of Willis. They get it perfectly here, and it's Willis that gives away the penalty at the breakdown. Excellent targeting, gets underneath, lifts him up. He can't, he goes for a second bite at it and knocks it out of Randall's hands. That's the danger if you compete hard on your own line. Randall, as soon as the penalty's given, he's quick, he's gone. And you can see a little bit of confusion. Umanga flies up, no one's on his outside. As soon as he gets taken out, there's only going to be one result. But it all came from them dealing properly with Jack Willis, winning the penalty, and then the speed to go before Wasps could reset.
And then lazily between the posts, continues to do his job at 10. Sam Badlow. And there's a Pat Lamb, Bristol side in the Premiership, about to beat Wasps for the first time.
Well, it was a quick tap, wasn't it, from Dan Robson? That was a sucker punch 6 weeks ago in that semi-final. Harry Randall, couple of moments of magic. Really seems to be the difference at this point.
That's an important take from the restart as well by Vui, who's had another monstrous game. Taken on by Dunn.
Harry, use it, please.
Dunn, one of those academy graduates, one of those young Bristol players that we're going to see a fair bit of, you'd imagine, over the next few weeks. Randall puts everything into that. Tom Kessel, the replacement scrum half, might not get a look in today. Randall looks like he's set to go all the way into the final 5 minutes.
Don't put him in! Use it, please!
The Wasps replacement scrum half, Sam Wolstenholme, just calling for a little bit more backup, a little bit more protection around that clearing kick. Thomas did what he could to get there, but not enough. Here's O'Connor. Shoots away from the attentions of Gopperth, and looking for a little bit of space on that left-hand side. Here's Heenan, finding himself in open spaces more and more, the number 8. Randall. Armstrong. First appearance for the best part of 2 years after groin and ankle problems for Jake Armstrong. Thomas. Fricker. Just on the edge of the table. Stayed on it. Capon. Wasps and Jacob Umanga, who is down injured. A man short defensively during this latest passage. Piatow to Armstrong.
Backwards, he kicked it backwards.
And it was Tamanga Allen who burst through, clattered his way through, and has won it back for Wasps.
Hook backwards, no problem.
There's Willis, Tom Willis. Takes on Fricker and Thomas. Still concerned for Jacob Umanga down below us. Tamanga Allen. And Sopawanga stepping in at 10. Paolo Adogwu runs into Piatow. Wolstenholme. Kibarigi. Seen an awful lot of Kibarigi running ball in hand. He's not had that opportunity to show himself today.
He hasn't. Good to see him coming off his wing, getting on the advantage line.
Now how about this? Gaskell and then Willis, and now Bassett. A lot of work to do, but he's spinning and he gives it away. And oh, how have Wasps scored that try? Needs to be put down by Willis, and it is. And Wasps may well have rescued themselves with a typical piece of Wasps magic.
Absolutely brilliant. Josh Bassett, you mentioned Zach Kibarigi, hadn't seen much of him, but the timing of that ball as well as the continuity. Gaskell doing the right thing, just getting the ball out one-on-one, pirouettes through one tackle, second one, offload. You've got to say, that's the game. Thought the game was done just a few moments ago with Harry Randall, but everyone doing their job, doing the simple things really well. As a winger, you just want this opportunity, and my word, doesn't Josh Bassett make the most of it? Absolutely outstanding score. Tom Willis off the bench. He's the try scorer, but it's all about Josh Bassett.
This is good.
Oh, that was a cracker
fantastic. And Bassett's ability just to know what's coming. There's an extra set coming at him. He just thinks, all I've got to do is stay on my feet for as long as possible. Don't have to try and knock him off. I know what's coming. But the pace initially to create that one-on-one.
Well, a little over a minute to go, and Wasps lead 23-20.
It's a great pass from Douglas as well to get the ball up. And then, as you said, just that pirouette, anything he can do to stay on his feet just long enough to lift it for the support.
Just when we were thinking that the likes of Agustin Pichot with his try at Loftus Road in 2000 wasn't going to be the last player to score a winning try against Wasps of Bristol away in the Premiership. Henry Honorball kicked his kicks that day. Just as we were thinking all that history was going to be consigned to the bin, Wasps do what they've just done. There's still time for Bristol, but precious little now. Final 30 seconds. Capon. Randall. Game has exploded into life these last 20 minutes. To get more signs of how these two might set up for the rest of the season. Bedlow. Gopperth coming in with the tackle. Wasps have now got to beware the penalty as we move into the red zone. There'll still be some kick for Bedlow from this distance, not the regular kicker. But Heenan and Bristol still doing what they can do.
Good decision from Paolo Dogru, just listening to the referee, not giving a penalty.
This is the match. One last final Bristol attack. One last final Wasps defensive effort. They think they've got hands on the ball. They haven't. It's still Fricker and it's still Bristol. And Willis once more engaging. Woolmore. Capon was up in support. My goodness, James Gaskell has worked hard today. Laid back, and Bedlow absolutely chopped in half, but he managed to get the ball away. And now here's Heenan, and he's shoved off the table. And Bristol's long wait for an away win at Wasps goes on. It's 20 years and it's growing, but the pain of getting so close to be denied by an absolute wonder try. Scored in the end by Tom Willis. Pat Lamb's Bristol have been beaten at the death and beaten by the team who ended their Premiership season last season. It's finished at the Ricoh. Wasps 23, Bristol 20.
Well, a scrappy game at times. There were glimpses of what both these teams can bring to the Gallagher Premiership. Some really good bits of play in there. Some excellent competition in and around the breakdown. I thought Harry Randall was superb, looking for a man of the match, and obviously on the winning side. Sometimes he gets so many of them, we look, who else was it? But is there anyone else who had as bigger impact on that performance for Wasps? I don't think so. So Jack Willis is our Gallagher Premiership man of the match for his competition all around the field, his work rate. He scored that try on the pick and go, and he was a menace in and around Bristol's driving line-out play.
Certainly was. What Willis is a problem. Two of them, fair play to Wasps. Of Bristol players, they'll be frustrated at their lack of fluency, especially in that first half. But if we're to focus on the positives, their work rate, their effort, their fight to get themselves back in the game. Almost had to try and win it twice, but unfortunately today, not quite good enough without all of their superstar players. They've shown plenty of signs of them being really competitive once again this season.
Wasps go to Kingsholm next Saturday. They've got Newcastle back here first weekend in December before the start of the Champions Cup campaign. They play the Dragons first up for Bristol. Worcester back at Ashton Gate next Saturday, then an away trip to Northampton and Franklin's Gardens, and then they can say hello to the Champions Cup, really underlining how far they have grown as a club in recent years in the Champions Cup in mid-December with those games against Claremont and Pat Lamb's former side Connacht. They've got so much to look forward to over the next month or so, and so much to look forward to this season. It was a game that, well, it took some time to kick into gear, Ben, but certainly that last 20 minutes we really started to see what these two sides were about.
I think the respect that they both got for each other was evident, and yeah, just that drive that's going to, what you're worried about first game of the season when you've had a successful season last year is, can the players get back up to that intensity and that will to win, and they both certainly prove they can.
Let's have a chat with the man of the match. Jack Willis is with Martin.
Well, Jack, first important question, who gets bragging rights, you or your brother?
I think his was slightly better, wasn't it? A little bit further of running, so give it to him this week.
That was quite a scrap. A lot of character shown by Wasps today, I guess.
Yeah, I think for us, we were, if looking back at the game, pretty disappointed. I think we wanted to come out the blocks a little bit quicker. But as you say, the character and fight that we showed, and that's exactly what we said at half-time, we're going to have to dig deep. Bristol really turned up today. And we did have to dig into it, but I think at the end we scrapped out a result, which was brilliant.
Give us an idea into what's going on in your minds as you go from one season into the next with such a short turnaround. We're watching on and thinking it's easy for you guys. There's no real downtime, no cobwebs to blow out of the way. Yeah. How have you found it?
Yeah, look, I think as a club there was a little bit of hurt at the end of last season, as you can imagine. For us, it's about dusting ourselves off and going again. We know that we've got to make sure we're improving constantly, as every other team is. Exeter aren't going to rest on their laurels. They're going to keep working and improving. And for us to get that end result at the end of this year, these sorts of results and wins are absolutely massive. I think we know that Bristol are probably going to be up there at the end of the season as well, so it's a shame we gave away them a losing bonus point. We'd like to have sort of let them come away with nothing, but at the end of the day, it's nice to get that win.
It also gives us an opportunity to say to you, well done on getting your international cap. This is yet another man of the match performance from you. Do you get the sense that for you this season could be a really, really defining one?
Yeah, I think for me my focus is doing as well as I can at the club, and any other opportunities that come would be great. And I think for me it's about constant improvement, the same as every other individual in that squad, and today this is just a reflection on the team's effort, and I'm lucky to be the one that was picked out today.
Now, of course, you may be dragged back into international reckoning by Andy Jones. I'm sure you're hoping that is the case. If not, you're with Wasps during a season where you're not going to see a lot of your fellow international players. Do you feel that puts a bit more responsibility now on your shoulders?
Yeah, I think it does. I think Jake's as well coming back for us. We know that the boys are working hard when we're away for the first half of the week. We come back and we've got to earn our spot and prove that we deserve to be playing. And it's no different for any other week, any other player. You've got to earn your shirt, and hopefully we're doing that.
Well, great performance by you and your teammates. Many congratulations to the Gallagher Premiership Man of the Match.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
He's sitting behind me waiting for